Hi guys, welcome back to the BMW Guy YouTube channel, and today we're going to be talking about why it's very difficult to drift one of these BMW 1 Series, or most BMWs in general. Now, with it being a rear-wheel drive hatchback setup, you'd have thought it would be excellent for drifting. However, there are a few factors that don't work in this car's favour that make it slightly more difficult than it should be. And that is that this car works with a open diff situation. So essentially what the differential is it differentiates the power through the rear wheels. So as the throttle shaft comes into here, it comes into a differential which spins and will distribute the power between the two rear wheels. It means that you're not working on just obviously, because the way that the tyres work, it puts less pressure on the axles, etc. So you instead of having axles, you have a drive shaft, which the power then goes to the wheel and turns the wheel. So essentially, the reason why these cars are more difficult with an open diff is because if at any point one of these rear tyres loses traction, then it suddenly gets all the power, because all the power travels to the path of least resistance, meaning that if you've tried it, you get what's called a one wheel peel, which is essentially when only one wheel spins as you're sort of trying to drift, which doesn't look the best. Makes you look a bit of a clown. Numerous videos on YouTube of this happening, so it just makes it that bit more difficult to get the back end to come round. Don't get me wrong, it is possible, especially if you're pushing hard, driving, etc. You can come unstuck. It doesn't make you invincible, but what it also means is that in snow and stuff, these cars are even worse than they would be had they got a limited slip differential. And essentially what this is it limits the amount of power that can go to one wheel. So rather than just allowing this wheel to totally spin once it loses traction, it will only allow it a certain amount of power or rotational force. The other one will still keep turning, which means that in low grip scenarios, you have a much better chance of actually getting out, because the wheel with traction is also being turned, whereas with the open diff, the wheel without traction gets all the turning power. This affects the way that the car drifts, because there is an equal balance of power between the two, which means that it's predictable and will allow the car to rotate nicely, because both wheels can lose traction, whereas because they're limited slip. Whereas if you just go with the open diff, it means that one wheel will always have traction, because the power isn't able to actually get to that wheel because it's got the traction, if that makes any sense at all. So yeah, it's just something to bear in mind, especially in this cold weather. If you are able to make the back end come out on one of these, then you're either driving like a bit of an idiot or you've intentionally done it. So just bear that in mind if it ever does happen to you. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe on the video. Let me know what you guys like to see on the channel at a later date, and I will see you in the next one. Cheers.